Hi everybody, it's Tuesday. We're on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange with Jim Cramer to break down today's market action. Jim, we have a nice 1% rally here.
Yes, and I would point out that this is the rally we were having before the Michael Cohen raid, aided by Xi saying some things that were meant to be, let's just say, conciliatory. I would say that what he's saying is directly the opposite of his 2025 plan. I would also say that I'm not saying don't believe Xi. I am saying that maybe this is the beginning of a negotiation, but the promises that the Chinese have made over time have not, I'd say, the Chinese government not necessarily been honored when it comes to theft. So anyone who thinks this is over is making a big mistake. By the way, the tariffs that he would take down for autos are now lower than the EU. So what is the president going to do with Germany? And what's he going to do with Mercedes? And what's he's going to do with BMW? These are all on the table. But the coalition of the willing, which I thought might happen, was busted by Xi last night. Maybe that was his point.
You sort of alluded to this on Twitter, but would you rather have Trump tweeting about, witch hunt, as he did this morning, or Amazon?
Right. Well, I think that what has to happen is for Amazon to run, is that the president needs to be distracted from his fight with Amazon. And it's very easy to tweet these offhanded tweets, but every time there's an offhanded tweet, the stock goes down. And as we own Amazon for Action Alerts, I tell club members to buy it every time the president tweets, but the stock is down miserably versus the rest of FANG because of the president.
Yeah. And so it's only Tuesday, so plenty of more opportunities. Yes. Meanwhile, Jim, you had great analysis last night on Mad Money about the Trump floor versus the Trump ceiling.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that my friend Scott Wapner and I were discussing, and I just think that there's been some criticism of me on Twitter that I'm friends with Larry Kudlow. Go watch any of the Kudlow and Cramers, and you'll see that we are friends, but we disagree on many different things. But Larry came on and basically told you that it's not the end with China. And then what happened that night? Well, she said it's not the end, and it was not. We left on Friday thinking that she's going to hit us with a series of tariffs. And last night we hear the opposite. Again, Trojan horse. Don't think that this is the beginning of the end. It's the beginning of the beginning and our country fighting back. That is not a new position for me. I'm not a political guy. But if you don't focus on politics right now in terms of trade and also what happened with Michael Cohen, you end up missing a lot of what's moving stocks.
Nike is certainly a company levered to the issues in China, yet look at them buying in Vertex.
Right, yeah, we talked about that. That was our mad dash, and I think that this is about personalization. That's something that Mark Parker has said over and over again is really important. Making a 3D image of your own foot, I think, would pretty darn great. One size, just because you're, for me, I'll give you a class example. I have a right foot that's a 9.5 and a left foot that's a 10.5, so I always have to buy 2 pairs of shoes. It's nuts.
Well, Nike's apparel business also on fire.
Yes, Nike's, yes, covered that. And I do want to talk about Michael Cohen for a second.
Okay.
Right? People have to understand that it was very jarring because there's such a thing as privilege, okay? And privilege means that the authorities can't look at what a document is that's privileged. But remember, Cohen's clients were not Stormy. We're not the Russian banks. He can. His client was Trump. We don't know where the confidence begins, the privilege begins, and where it ends. And so the government has to put in a clean team. This had to be orchestrated by the highest level of justice. A clean team will come in as prosecutors. They will evaluate. They will read everything and evaluate what is privileged and what isn't, and then we'll turn it over. And that is a frightening thing to anybody who's a lawyer, because you thought that that the Sixth Amendment was going to protect you. So it is legal what the Justice Department is doing. But if you're the president, I can understand why he says witch hunt, but I also understand we have an independent Justice Department in the country.
Well, some are saying maybe this increases the chances of him firing Mueller.
I think it's certainly a possibility. It increases the possibility that he fires Sessions, or that he tries to get Sessions to fire Mueller, because remember, only Sessions can fire Mueller. This is not unlike the October the Saturday Night Massacre, and going back all the way to '73, where Nixon wanted Special Prosecutor Archibald Cox fired. So he went to the head of justice, went to Elliot Richardson in Ruggles House and said, listen, one of you has to fire. The first one quit, second one quit. Finally, Bork fired. He fired Cox, and that was the beginning of the end for Nixon. So I think a lot of people are concerned. There's also a very good piece yesterday in the paper about Tom Steyer and his efforts to be able to impeach Trump, and how the Republicans are rallying around that to say that if they can't lose the majority in the House, because maybe that would happen. So all this is on the table, and it's just making it very difficult to be able to buy stocks up 300, which is why I urge people not to do it.
And bolstering your position of raising cash right now.
Well, we like to sell into strength.
All right, meanwhile, Jim, last night on Mad Money you talked about golf stocks.
Yeah, Eli is very, very good. Cushnet is good. We said don't be an EPR because it's too tangential. But Callaway, Eli, is a very good stock. And while it looks expensive, it's got tremendous growth. And I think that golf is back. And Eli used to be an amazing stock. I'm not saying it could be that again, but we've been recommending it for a long time now, and we're not backing away.
And with a nice stake in Topgolf.
Yes, indeed.
All right, meanwhile, Jim, who do you have coming up on Mad Money tonight?
I have Taylor Morrison, the home builder, and this is really important, Cheryl Palmer, because I'm trying to get verification what Stuart Miller said last week, Lennar, largest housing company in the country, which is that, this is really one of those instances where very much the higher rates have not impacted the numbers, and I'm going to try to make that point by talking to Cheryl.
All right, that's tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern on Mad Money. And Jim, you and I are going to continue talking about stocks.
Don't forget, 11:30 on Thursday is my conference call, and I want you to trial action alerts, and you'll see a tremendous amount of effort put in these calls. Tremendous.
We're looking forward to that. So please go to actionalertsplus.com to join the club.